There are only about 300 different videos on YouTube and other places about how to get your Canvas course started. From my experience, most of those people talk way too much, and so I'm going to try to very quickly show you how to get Canvas going with the modules approach. It's the cleanest way that I know to get a course started and organized with as few clicks and as little frustration as possible. And so I'm going to work very quickly here, and certainly let me know if you have any questions or problems, and I can try to help if needed. But before we get started, you'll notice I'm actually on Instructure.com. If you go to this page here, canvaslms.com, you can set up a free account, and you are free to use these courses to teach your real classes with real students if you like. It's a great training platform. It's a great platform to build courses with low stakes, with no real people or real users and that sort of thing. So that's where I am, and you are welcome to get that going as well. And so you can just start a course on your own. You don't need any approval from anybody. You just start a course and you give it a name and tell it a few things here. And I've already got one here that I just started. I haven't clicked a single thing in this course. You can see that it's unpublished, and this is as clean as it gets from the very beginning. And so what we're going to do is use the module approach, and I'll show you very quickly my steps in getting that started. So first we choose a home page. I want to choose the modules. I want it to go directly to the modules page. That may be checked for you automatically. It may be something else, but always make sure when students log in, they go straight to the modules page. And so over here, I want to clean this up. These items that are grayed out have nothing in them right now, but everything else, this is all visible to students, and I don't want students getting to all of this stuff on their own. So I'm going to go in here to settings, and I'm going to hide most of these buttons. So settings and then navigation, and then the way I hide things is I just drag them down here, and so I'm moving even the modules button, because remember the home page goes directly to the modules, so the students don't need the modules button. There's no reason to put that there. Not doing that, not doing that, none of this stuff. And you might say, well, hey Adam, don't they need their syllabus and don't they need their quizzes? Yes they do, and we're going to handle all of that through the modules. There's no reason to show them. Actually, I do want them to have the people button. I like to keep the home button, keep it up here, and I like the grades button, but everything else can go away. We don't need any of this other stuff. And I love using discussions, but we're going to manage those through modules, and we're not going to give students access to just click on the discussions button. If you let them click the discussions button, or the files button especially, it's the most dangerous. When they click files, they just get an unorganized list of all of your files. The files you're using, the files you're not using. In my courses, I like to keep lecture notes and videos and all sorts of things in the files area that I don't necessarily want students to get to. And so I hide that files button. All of this other stuff, I have lots of pages. Some of them are useful to students. Some of them are useful to me. If I click pages, then they're all visible to students in just an unorganized list. So I like to hide all of that. So if I'm a student, then all I have are these three buttons, and you see the others are grayed out. So if I click over here on student view real quickly, I can confirm I don't have any modules yet, but all I have are these three buttons. That's very handy. So let's get started and build some modules. I'm going to leave student view and go back to my main page. I need to create my very first module, and I like to call this one either module 0 or week 0. You can do this according to weeks or units in your textbook, or however you like to organize your course. Probably this is a course, if you're developing this course, it's probably a course you've taught in the classroom for years. And so I like to try to organize the online section as closely as we can to the on-campus. So how do you organize your on-campus course? Is it by modules, or is it test 1, 2, 3? How do you organize? Let's organize the online course in the same way. I like to operate with weeks, and I always like to begin with a week 0 or a module 0. We'll do week 0 here. So the week 0, obviously you can't have a week 0. This is sort of the getting started. Ignore my cell phone is blowing up in the background. Week 0, getting started. So now we have our week 0, and before I put anything in that, I'm going to go ahead and create a couple more. Week 1, and you can give it, more information here if you want. If you know what topics are covered in week 1, you can put that in there if you like. And I mean, a standard semester is what, 14, 15, 16 weeks, and so you could go through that if you want, if you plan to organize it that way. Again, now that we're in our modules, we can really organize this any way that we like. This week 0 is where I like to put things. I'm going to create a new page, and I'm going to call it my syllabus. And I can create a new page and call it my course schedule. Now, probably my course schedule is also in my syllabus, but I like to have a place where folks can just click right quick and they see the schedule pop up week by week. Where am I supposed to be? What's due? That sort of thing. Nope, not a new module. I like to do like a introductions discussion, and this is sometimes graded or not, and we'll look at grading maybe in another video. I like to do a practice quiz, and in the practice quiz it's just a multiple choice. Do you agree to the academic honesty statement? Do you agree to do your own work? Have I gone through module 0? Those types of things. Speaking of academic honesty, we can make another page, and we'll call it academic honesty. I think that's right. Academic honesty. And so I want that to be up here maybe, and then introductions and practice quiz. And you see right now none of this is published. All of these little things are I don't know what that's called. They're X'd out or whatever. So I'm going to publish the module, but then I'm going to go and publish each of these things. But the whole course is actually still unpublished. I'm just going to go ahead and publish the whole course. And so now these items are all visible to students. I don't have any students yet, except me. I can add people on my own in this thing if I want. I don't have any students, but if I did, they would be able to see this. And so these are all things that they're not really associated with any content. It's week 0. It's the stuff that we do maybe in the very first part of the class, and in this module they get a little taste of pretty much everything. They've got a quiz. They've got a discussion here. They've got content pages and the syllabus, and this week 0 always stays at the very top, and it's ready to go. And you can get fancy if you want. You can even say that students have to, in order to get to week 1, week 2, week 3, they have to complete week 0. And so you set that up over here. You can say the requirements: a student must complete all of these, or students must do one or more of. See, these are the things I put in that area. Students have to jump through these hoops until they have to jump through these hoops in order to unlock week 1. And we say in week 1 there's a prerequisite. Well, the prerequisite for week 1 is week 0, and now we can see that here. We can do the same for week 2. There's a prerequisite, and you can even get really fancy and say to start week 1 you have to finish week 2. I don't recommend that because often students get tangled up and they get ahead of themselves or they get behind, and you don't want to create a situation where a student is trying to get his or her work done, and they're tangled up in some complicated rule that you've created. So I do like to require that they go through this stuff, and then once they do, everything else opens up. And see, these are not. Go ahead and publish those. And so week 1 might contain, a video lecture, PowerPoint, whatever it is that you want to do. We're not going to get into teaching methods too much. I really just want to get you into getting this module approach organized. And see, they've got their quiz when I want them to have their quiz, and they didn't have to go to this quizzes button for anything. Same with the discussions and that sort of thing. This way they see the content when I want them to see the content, and they don't have to really navigate 3 semesters worth of old discussions and quizzes to find the one that we're working on this time. So that is a really rough start on getting the modules approach started. Hopefully that was helpful. If not, let me know and I can try to do better. I'll try to do more quizzes or more videos on this type of thing in the future, on developing discussions and quizzes and how to do your grading and weighted grades and all that sort of stuff. Thanks.